Hello friends, bigstupidgrin here, and today we are finishing off our week of State of the Investigator videos from the Dream Eaters expansion with Mandy Thompson, the Seeker. I give her stats an A-. She has 3 willpower, 5 intellect, 1 fighting, 3 agility, 6 health, and 8 sanity. So with her skill line, 3513, that's almost what people would min-max. If you ask people, give your Seeker 12 in stats and divide them up however you wish, this is probably what you're going to see a lot of times, unless people go nuts and put 6 in intellect. She's not bad at evading. She's not bad at the counter deck. You can use Tooth of Etzli and make those both even better. She's not going to be fighting, but she's the Seeker. She's not going to be fighting. Most of them don't. 6 and 8 health sanity is okay. You know I like 7 and 7 better, but at least it's not 5 and 9. I give her Elder Sign a B+, so its effect is +0. Search the top 3 cards of your deck for a card and either draw it or commit it to this test if able. Shuffle your deck. So this could help you pass the test sometimes, but mostly it's a nice benefit. Getting a card for free and getting to look for it is really nice. It's basically Eureka on an Elder Sign. And if you haven't used your ability yet, you could search the top 6 or grab 2 cards out of the 3, which are both insane. So a very nice Elder Sign, even if it's not always going to help you pass tests. I give her ability an A+. So, reaction. When an investigator at your location would search their deck or the encounter deck, they may either search 3 additional cards or resolve 1 additional target of the search. Limit once per round. So, searching is one of the best things you can do in this game, and this adds a ton of value to it. You can either dig for an additional 3 cards, or grab another card out of it. So, search 3, grab 2, if you are searching for 3. You can help your friends with that. It is limit once per round, so if you use it on your friends, you're not using it on yourself. And you don't want to commit every single turn to searching because you're going to be spending a lot of tempo. So as long as you limit yourself and don't go nuts with it, it's still an insane ability. Some things you can do with it. Playing Dr. Ellie Horowitz, you can look for the top 12 cards. Probably for the Tooth of Etzli, which is really, really good. Maybe an Elder Sign Amulet or a Key of East if you want to play with those. Mr. Rook, he goes from maybe overpowered to definitely overpowered with Mandy. It's free. You get to... it's a free action. You can look for 2 things. It's insane. I still don't think Scroll of Secrets is very good, but if it's going to be good in anybody's deck, it's going to be Mandy Thompson. And then Old Book of Lore, every single turn you can use that. Again, like I just said a couple of slides ago, maybe you don't want to use it every single turn, but it's still very, very strong. And then Astounding Revelation, one of the new cards. It's a Myriad event that costs nothing. So Myriad means you can run 3 of them. It cannot be played. When you search your deck, an Astounding Revelation is among the searched cards. Discard it. Either gain 2 resources or place a secret on an asset you control. Max 1 research ability per search. So the research ability, as far as I know, is reactions to searching when you find this card. They have max 1 research ability per search on her signature card, which we'll talk about. So I think that's what that means. But this gives additional value to Mandy Thompson's searches, and you don't really have to do too much to get that going. So I think Astounding Revelation is a nice option. And then this is more cute than good. Maybe it's good. So if you have Charisma out and you play Calling in Favors, and you could use Mandy's ability to find 2 allies and play them at the same time, reducing its cost by X, both of them. So you could get a couple of really good allies for cheap. Maybe you've used Mr. Rook 3 times and you're ready to find somebody else, or you want to dig for an art student for some reason. A lot of different options you can use with calling in favors. I give her signature cards a B, and I've gone back and forth on it, but I think I had it rated lower, but I misread her weakness. So I think her weakness is still very punishing, but it's not that bad. So her weakness is Shocking Discovery. If you draw it normally, you just shuffle it back into your deck. If you can't, you have to discard it and draw the top card in the encounter deck, which isn't going to happen all that often. Forced, when you search your deck and this card is among the searched cards, discard it, cancel the search and all of its effects, shuffle the searched deck, and then draw the top card of the encounter deck. So it's almost as bad as Through the Gates. Overzealous is what I was thinking about. It's almost as bad as Overzealous. It cancels an action, and you could really get screwed by the encounter deck too. So you never want to draw the top card of encounter decks unless you're doing something really good, or it's just the Mythos phase and you have to. And then her signature card is Occult Evidence. It's a 0-cost event. All it does when you play it is shuffle itself back into your deck. Reaction: when you search your deck and Occult Evidence is among the searched cards, reveal it, draw it, and discover a clue at your location. Max 1 research ability per search. So you can't use that other card, let's see, Astounding Revelation, at the same time as Occult Evidence. So you might have to choose between one if you have to. Getting free clues is nice. It is a little annoying to have it in your hand and then have to play it to shuffle it back. You could just commit it. At least it has one wild icon, so that's good. And also, depending on your deck creation, you could run 1, 2, or 3 of these, which is very interesting. I give her card pool an A. So she has 9 different configurations to how to build a Mandy Thompson deck, which is pretty insane. Like Tony Morgan, you get to choose an off-class among a pool of 3 different choices. In Mandy's case, it is Mystic, Rogue, and Survivor. And then you get up to 10 level 0 to 1 events or skills of your chosen secondary class. And also, on top of that, you get to choose your deck size. It can be 30, 40, or 50. The more cards you pick, the more copies of Occult Evidence. So at 30, you get 1 copy, 40, you get 2 copies, and at 50, you gain 3 copies of Occult Evidence to use. So people are going to figure out on their own, debate how many cards you should put in the Mandy Thompson deck. So the more cards, you get more copies of Occult Evidence, and it's harder to draw Shocking Discovery and your basic weakness, because those do not scale with deck size. Obviously, the less cards you play, the more consistent your deck would get, but because Mandy Thompson's so good at searching, it might be okay for her to run more cards and just dig for the ones she needs. She also has 5 intellect, so even if she's having a rough go at what she's drawing, she's still going to be able to do her job, which is cloovering. And besides, I think 30 cards would be missing the point of Mandy Thompson. You can always run it, of course. So looking at Mystic. Mystic for her is just going to be a lot of good utility cards. Astral Travel, if you really like teleporting through the map. It's not as good as Elusive, but Elusive is taboo, so we got to work with Astral Travel. Delve Too Deep, Drawn to the Flame. Deny Existence and Ward of Protection. Those are your basic 4 choices for utility cards, or 5 choices if you want to use Astral Travel. It's not bad. But we also have, I don't think Storm of Spirits is going to be great for her unless she can randomly target a bunch of rats or some low fight, low health myriad enemies. Enraptured is interesting. If there is enough cards with secrets that you can make kind of a theme deck with secrets, you could use Enraptured. I'm not sure if that's supported quite enough. And Premonition is a great card. It's fast, it's 0, and you can use the information to really good effect. If you haven't played Premonition before, I would suggest you try to fit it into your Mystic lists. At 1 XP, you have one meh option and one really good option. Stargazing / the stars are right, I think are really, really powerful, and they might be the main reason to run Mandy Thompson. So stargazing, it's a zero cost event, max twice per game. Play only if there are 10 or more cards in the encounter deck. You get to search your body cards for a copy of The Stars Are Right, and you shuffle it into the top 10 cards of the encounter deck. So you've added an encounter card, basically. And this encounter card, more or less, is The Stars Are Right. So, Revelation, remove The Stars Are Right from the game, choose an investigator. That investigator draws a card, gains a resource, and may take an immediate action as if it were their turn. So that's an amazing alternative to drawing an encounter card. You can't really plan it since it's in the top 10, so you don't know when it's going to happen, but it's going to be invaluable whenever you do draw it. So if you run Mandy Thompson as Mystic, I think spending some XP on a couple copies of Stargazing are definitely worth it. Survivor, I'm a little less interested in playing with Mandy. This is, again, I like to show cute interactions even though they're not like super powerful. You could use Act of Desperation to chuck a fingerprint kit at an enemy, and you'd be fighting at a 5 and deal 2 damage. Again, more cute than good. Although I think fingerprint kit might be pretty good in Mandy, since she has high intellect anyways. And that's kind of where I like that card, is when you can grab clues on your own, but you just want to be like Rex for a turn or so. Live and Learn and Lucky, pretty good utility cards, not much to say about them. Trial by Fire is interesting if you really have to get one of your skills to a 5 for a turn. Take Heart, another utility card. Then Fortuitous Discovery, I think, is very interesting. So it costs X, it's myriad, so you can run 3 of them. X is the number of copies of Fortuitous Discovery in your discard pile. You investigate, you get plus X intellect for this investigation. X is the number of copies of Fortuitous Discovery in your discard pile. If you succeed, discover X additional clues at your location. So you could set it up where you could grab 3 total clues out of 1 investigate action. I think if you wanted to play Survivor and maybe a lower deck size, that might be an okay play. Otherwise, I think it'd be too hard to set up. Could be wrong though. I haven't tried Fortuitous Discovery yet. At 1 XP, you get a bunch of exile cards. Test of Will and Devil's Luck are kind of just inferior versions of Ward of Protection and Deny Existence. And Flare here is pretty good for finding an ally, though you got Calling in Favors for that. You could conceivably shoot something with the flare gun, but you're not going to be great at it. You're still just going to be a 4. So maybe if you want to run Trial by Fire and then shoot something at an 8, it could be pretty good. But my favorite card pull for her is Rogue by far. You handle this one. Very nice. Give your friend an enemy to shoot. The Intel Decoy Small Favor cards, the Favor Service cards, could be really good. They have double skill icons, so even if you draw them and don't want to use them, they're probably going to be valuable for you. And otherwise, it's test-free stuff, gaining a clue, dealing damage, or evading stuff, which is very, very nice. Quick Thinking. I love having investigators who have a 5 and a proactive stat that have access to Quick Thinking. Right now it's only Mandy Thompson and Tony Morgan, the rogue from the Dream Eaters. So I really loved Quick Thinking from my campaign with Silas Marsh. So yeah, I think it's really powerful. Think on your feet, also very, very good. Mandy has decent evade, but it's not evade you can that you don't want to back up with support. So think on your feet is a good option for that. And then Swift Reflexes, double icon, which is nice. If you have the spare resources, which you might in this deck, depending. Again, that 5 intellect means you don't have to support her too much with assets. You're always going to want Soak, of course, and something like Hawkeye or Fingerprint Kit is good. But if you don't have those out, it's not the end of the world. Then you can start considering, low-cost utility events. Slip Away, you get to evade at an 8, which is nice. Should be able to hit that succeed by 2 or more bonus against non-elite enemies, so that's really good. Sleight of Hand is more cute than good. Again, another thing to do with Fingerprint Kit is you slide it out and you gain a bunch of extra clues, and then it goes back to your hand. At 1 XP, I really like the new card Easy Mark. It's Myriad, it costs 0. You gain 2 resources and draw a card, which is okay for a 0-cost event. But the reaction is, after you play Easy Mark, play another Easy Mark from your hand at no cost. So Mandy Thompson is probably the best at trying to get all 3 copies of Easy Mark out. And then you would gain 6 resources and draw 3 cards for the cost of 1 action and no resources. So that's really good. If you want to go with Easy Mark, I would lean into it pretty hard, since you're going to want 3. This is a kind of a 5-minute version of a 50-card rogue deck. It has a lot of utility events. Any 50-card deck is going to be super indulgent with their card counts. So, yeah, 31 events. Hopefully you can use some of them towards skill checks. Otherwise, we've got Emergency Cash and Crack the Case for some resource generation, so you can play some of those events. Assets are pretty normal. Fingerprint Kit, Hawkeye, Old Book of Lore, Tooth of Etsley, Milan and Rook are the allies. And then I have Strange Solution and Shrewd Analysis, since she can go find those with her ability, and it's just easier to get that done with an intellect of 5. And here's a 40-card version of the list as well. A lot less events, and we got rid of some of the assets in order to try to get that count to 40. Mandy Thompson, solo or multiplayer. I think she would be okay in solo. She has decent evasion. If you run a 30-card list with her, you can get fighting when you need it. But obviously multiplayer, all Seekers are pretty much better at multiplayer than they are at solo, because they can just settle into their role. Her ability helps friends out. You can let the fighters do the fighting, and so she's definitely going to be super powerful in multiplayer. When I play Mandy Thompson, if you've always built a 50-card deck list that you have to prune 20 cards off of, Mandy's your gal. Search is awesome, obviously. 5 intellect means you can get away with different deck building ideas. You don't have to be so obsessed with getting that intellect up to a higher level. And then she has 9 different deck building configurations, 3 different deck sizes times 3 different secondary class choices. So there's a lot of replay value with Mandy Thompson. And then finally, I wanted to preview the next campaign for the channel. We're definitely going to finish up Skids first. We might be running this next campaign concurrently. I want to run Mandy Thompson and Tony Morgan. Probably going to use a custom campaign for that. And I was thinking I was going to run Seeker Rogue Mandy and Rogue Seeker Tony, just for a bit of mirroring. We could run 4 copies of You Handle This One in between, amongst them. So I think that would be pretty cool. I started the first scenario of the Shifting Sands campaign with Mark, and I wasn't super happy with Mark's deck, so I think I might replay that campaign with these 2 investigators, but I'll reserve the right to change my mind, of course. Anyway, I'm Big Stupid Grin. Hope you enjoyed your time here. Until next time, have a good one.